What's up, guys, and welcome to the Tim Sports Talk. And today we are going to be talking about trading this guy, my lookalike, Brandon Scherff, for this guy, Sam Darnold. And I know it sounds crazy if you just think I'm going to trade it straight up, which is not what's going to happen. But we just franchise tagged Brandon Scherff for $18 million. And nobody wants to pay a left guard $18 million, especially in a year where the cap is going down. We have some bigger plans that we want to do, and I think we can move on from Brandon Scherff by going to attempt to get our franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold would be roughly a $10 million cap hit, just under a $10 million cap hit. Right now, Brandon Scherff is already on our cap for $18 million. So, looking at that, we would have an extra $8 million, so we would be sitting right around $45 million. Okay, just around $45 million in cap space. What's the trade I would want to do before I go any further is I would like to trade Brandon Scherff and a third-round pick for Sam Darnold and the Jets' second-round pick. So the Jets would be giving up pick number 34, which would be basically a quasi-first-round pick, right, for Brandon Scherff, who's a top-5 right guard, and a third-round pick. We have 2 third-rounders this year, so we'd basically just be moving up in the draft and potentially getting our future franchise quarterback. Now, what would I do with those picks? Now, we have our quarterback, so we don't have to draft one in the first round. Now, I would go ahead and draft a left tackle with pick number 19, whether Darnold from, I think, Virginia Tech is there, or I think there was another guy I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's also, basically, that would probably be the best one in that range. Now, with our second pick, which would be the Jets' second-round pick at pick number 34, we can go ahead and get our linebacker. There's some interesting linebackers that could be in that range, such as a Zaven Collins or a Nick Bolton or a Jabril Cox, somewhere in that range, could be a really nice linebacker that we get with our second-round pick. Now, with pick number 51 is where I would like to replace Brandon Scherff with Deontay Brown. Deontay Brown, the left guard out of Alabama. This dude is a man beast. Oh my goodness. This guy is like 350 pounds. He looked great in Alabama, and I would love to get my hands on this dude at pick number 51, and then we could continue on. Basically, a third round is money. Now, let's go ahead and also, what am I going to say about how I'm going to complete my offensive line? So I got my left tackle in the first round. I got my left guard in the second round, and then I would move Sadiq Charles, the guy that we drafted to be one of our left tackles in the third round last year. I would move him to right guard. He seems to fit a little bit better in a guard position because he doesn't have the long arms a typical tackle has, where a tackle needs long arms to be able to push the defensive end around the pocket. His arm length was a little bit too short for a top-tier left tackle, but at the guards don't need super long arms. They usually just want to stay compact, anchor, strong, and he's plenty big, plenty strong to be a legitimate right guard. And if you think it can't be done, Brandon Scherff was a left tackle when he came into the league, okay? When we drafted him number 5 overall, he was the left tackle at Iowa. So, Sadiq Charles would be my right guard. I would have a new left guard, my first-round pick, whether it be Darnold or somebody else. Then I got Deontay Brown, my left guard. I got Chase Roullier, my center. Morgan Moses, my right tackle. That's a great offensive line. I have put a bunch into that as far as picks, but not a lot of money. That, as far as an overall cap space, that is not a lot of cap space, even though I've spent some high capital to get to that point. I love that idea. Now, why else do I love that idea? Is now we have cap space to work with to go fill out other needs on this team. They seem to be really interested in a wide receiver in this free agency. Chris Godwin just signed the franchise tag, so he's off the board, but we still have options of Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, Corey Davis, or I really like Will Fuller. Will Fuller is a guy that I'm really interested in because I think we could get him super cheap with a lot of, like, he got suspended last year for PEDs, also has had some injury problems. But this dude, when he's on the field, is a stud. He was the first round pick that we traded back for them to get him at pick number 21 when we took Josh Doxson. This could be an incredible pickup for us where he might be as cheap as like $7 million a year. And maybe we can get him on a small 2-year deal, $7 million a year, like $14 million prove it kind of deal, which would be a fantastic move for us. Because now that's only, $7 million, $6-7 million against the cap. That still leaves us $39 million. I've already fixed my O-line. I've just got a second receiver. I got my quarterback of the future. So now I can turn towards my defense. Because I already said I drafted my linebacker. I can now go out and get a Jayon Brown from Tennessee. Or maybe I could throw a bag at Levante David, depending on which receiver I get, right? So there's options there at linebacker. And I also forgot to mention on the offense, we're already in talks, apparently, of going out and getting a Hunter Henry. And I might make a separate video on that. But Hunter Henry would be a fantastic tight end for us because I know he's had some injury concerns, but Logan Thomas is a guy that could step in if something happened to Hunter Henry, but Hunter Henry is a clear upgrade when on the field. There is a ton of options that we can do if we do not pay Brandon Scherff a right guard. A right guard, $18 million is what we're slated to pay him. I'm sorry. I love Brandon Scherff as much as anyone, okay? I think he's an awesome offensive lineman for us. Awesome. He's incredible, okay? But if the right guard is your highest paid position, it's just not a good sign. And I would love to, this would move us in a direction that could be really, really positive. Because basically my entire offensive line is under contract. I guess Morgan Moses, I think, has 2 years left because there's Morgan Moses. Yep, he's got another year. Does he have a third? No. So he's got 2 more years, so I'm under contract with him. Trace Urier just signed a long-term deal. Sadiq Charles was just drafted last year, so he would be on contract. And then my left tackle and my left guard would all be under contract. So my offensive line for at least 2 years, but on and beyond, is really set up for the future, which would be incredible, right? And basically this also just leaves the 3rd round pick where I have basically a free pick. Like, what do we need? We could go ahead and get an extra defensive end. We can get maybe a corner in the 3rd round. And this would also leave money to go ahead and sign a cheap deal for maybe Ronald Darby if he's not going to get a bunch of money on free agency. There's so many more flexible options that we can do if we don't throw all this money into a left guard. But I understand you have to have, a right guard. But you have to have a backup plan if you're not going to sign Brandon Scherff. And I just gave you mine. And I think it's very plausible that that could happen. And I would love to see this happen, but hey, you guys let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, in the description, there is a Discord link. Hop in our Discord and come talk some football with us. And last but not least, there are donation links in the description. If you feel so kind, you could donate to the channel. But Brandon Scherff for Sam Darnold. Go get our franchise quarterback. Swap picks. Come on. What do you guys think? Let me know. And until next time, see ya!